yesterday I started with to study motion. I am just revising because maybe 2-3 of you are present for first time. So to study motion, we require these things. We require an observer, we require an object, we require a coordinate system, we require a clock. This coordinate system, clock, and the observer taken together, they are called as a frame of reference. We will come to that later when we go to Newton's law. These three things are only called as frame of reference. Anyway, so the whole motion topic can be classified into these four categories: rest, motion with constant velocity, motion with constant acceleration, and motion with variable acceleration. Now what Newton said for these two kind of motion we require force. For these two kind of motion we don't require force. Before that, before Newton, people thought that for rest we don't require much force. For all other three we require force. Newton said no. For these two only we require force. For this motion we don't require force. So for rest or motion with constant velocity we don't require force. That happens even without force. The body just continues to be in its state of rest or of motion. Anyway, that's we will go to in next class. Next now we are basically studying. First of all, we should know these terms: position, displacement, velocity, acceleration, and based on this, we should be able to classify the motion into any of these categories. Then we can study accordingly. So yesterday, basically, we had studied all those terms, and we had learned how to classify motion into these categories, right? So next, so here I had said you what is position. It is denoted by x. Position means it is where the body is located from origin with reference to the origin, like that. As a displacement, it means final position minus initial position. It does not mean the path traveled by body. It only means that between initial and final point there exists a shortest route, and that is xf minus xi. The body might have gone through that way. The body might have gone through some other way. Achha, are you able to understand my accent, my way of speaking English? Am I speaking too fast?
Yes, sir.
Am I speaking too fast?
A little fast.
Should I slow? Acha. So I should slow down then. Okay. So this is displacement position minus initial position. Distance. Distance means it is the actual path length traveled by body. And yesterday we studied that distance and displacement, they are two different things. They can be equal sometimes, not always. Under what condition they will be equal? Only under one condition. That is when the body is traveling in a straight line without changing direction. The word without changing direction is important, not the word straight line. Because if the body travels without changing direction, that means it has to be a straight line. डायरेक्शन चेंज कर ही नहीं रहा है, जा रहा है, तो स्ट्रेट लाइन ऑटोमेटिकली बन जाएगा वो, है ना. So if we are telling that the body is traveling without changing direction, that implies that it is straight line motion. But if you tell that the body is traveling in straight line, that does not mean that it is not changing direction, because the body may be traveling in straight line from here to here, then it may return from here to here. So if the body travels like this and returns like this, distance and displacement won't be equal. Look here. If the body travels from A to B and then returns from B to C, so initial position A, final position C, displacement is from A to C, but distance is more than that. Distance is this much A to B plus this much B to C. So I said the distance and displacement, they are two different things. They will only be equal under one condition: when the body travels in straight line without changing direction. That means if it is going in straight rightward, means it is going in rightward direction. If it is going in leftward, means it is going in leftward direction. It is not stopping and changing direction. How do we know mathematically whether something is changing direction or not? From velocity. Whenever velocity is 0, that means body is changing direction there. That's how we find out. If the question comes, x equal to 2t square plus 3t plus 5 minus 7, find out when this body changes direction. That means you find velocity. You find when velocity is 0, that is the time when it is changing direction. So to find distance, we have to divide the interval into small parts wherever it is changing direction. Like here, it is going from A to B. At B, it is changing direction. So from A to B, we have to calculate separately. From B to C, we have to calculate separately. Then we should do addition of both of them to get distance. That's the method to find distance. Then I said about average velocity, that is delta x by delta t. Instantaneous velocity, that is dx by dt. Average speed, that is delta s by delta t. Instantaneous speed, that is ds by dt. Then we studied about acceleration, average acceleration, that is delta v by delta t. Instantaneous acceleration, that is delta v by delta t. Okay, then we summarize. Distance can be greater than or equal to displacement. Average speed can be greater than or equal to average velocity. But instantaneous speed is equal to magnitude of instantaneous velocity. Then I say to remember this like this, that velocity means speed plus direction. Acha, yesterday I also mentioned you about something like how do you know that in a question whether he is asking average velocity or instantaneous velocity? How do you know that whether he is asking the average value or the instantaneous value? Let's say the question reads like this: find out the velocity from t equal to 0 second to t equal to 3 second. Which velocity is he asking, average or instantaneous?
Average.
How did you
Average.
know? How did
Given time interval.
interval? Achha, if it tells find average velocity at t equal to 5 seconds, that means
Instantaneous velocity.
that means instantaneous velocity, like that. Okay. Then I said that velocity it is equal to speed plus direction. It is instantaneous velocity equal to instantaneous speed plus direction. है ना, इसको ऐसे याद नहीं रखना कि एवरेज वेलोसिटी इक्वल टू एवरेज स्पीड प्लस डायरेक्शन, तब गलती हो जाएगा. इट इज इंस्टेंटेनियस वेलोसिटी इक्वल टू इंस्टेंटेनियस स्पीड प्लस direction. I say what is acceleration? So whenever velocity is changing, that is called as acceleration. Now, in how many ways velocity can change? I mentioned about 4 ways. These are the 4 possible cases. Speed changes, direction remains constant. Direction changes, speed remains constant. Speed and direction both change. Speed and direction both remain constant. Right? Then I said that this specific kind of accelerations are given specific names also. Like when speed changes, direction remains constant. That kind of acceleration which happens because of change of speed is called as tangential acceleration. Sometimes direction changes, speed remains constant. So here, that kind of acceleration which happens because of change of direction is called as centripetal acceleration. अच्छा, centripetal acceleration किसमें होता है? Example, एक example जिसमें speed change नहीं हो रहा है लेकिन direction change हो रहा है. Yes.
So circular motion.
And circular motion. Yes. अच्छा, then speed and direction both change. Example where speed and direction both change. Non-uniform circular motion. So there we have centripetal acceleration because direction is changing, and there we have tangential acceleration because speed is changing, and total acceleration we can get by doing vector addition. है ना? Acceleration is a vector quantity. So to find total acceleration, we need to do vector addition. Right? Acha, only when speed and direction both are constant, we tell acceleration is 0. So these things I said yesterday, I mentioned you. Then I mentioned you about how to know the direction of velocity and acceleration. Who can tell? Direction of velocity means
Direction of motion.
direction of acceleration means.
Direction of force.
Then again I mentioned about 4 cases. Sometimes people think velocity right में है तो acceleration को भी right में होना पड़ेगा, velocity left में है तो acceleration को भी left में होना पड़ेगा. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, सारे cases possible है. तो again I mentioned about all 4 cases, right? See here, velocity acceleration both towards right. Here velocity right, acceleration left. Here velocity acceleration both towards left, and here velocity left, acceleration right. Then I mentioned that what happens when velocity and acceleration are in opposite direction. What happens when velocity and acceleration are in opposite direction? That means case 2 and 4, body slows down, and slowing down of the body is called as retardation, right? Retardation. Got it? And if we take rightward acceleration as positive, then leftward acceleration can be taken as negative. In that sense, case 2 and case 3 can be called as negative acceleration. So I mentioned that negative acceleration and retardation, they are two different things. Okay, then I also talked about rest and equilibrium. Rest means velocity zero, equilibrium means force zero. Again, here also four cases are possible, right? Body is in rest as well as in equilibrium. Body is neither at rest nor in equilibrium. Body is at rest, not in equilibrium. Body is in equilibrium, not at rest. All cases are possible. So rest and equilibrium, they are not same thing. They are different things. Sometimes they can be same. So from here, you might be seeing that wherever I am talking, I am always talking about four cases. So that's how, if you remember, things become easy. Then we came to this question and we solved. Whatever terms we had learned, we have found out everything. Here I had made a mistake yesterday. Here when I was finding velocity, speed, acceleration, here the time is 0 to 3 seconds. So we should do displacement by velocity means displacement by 3 seconds. Displacement by time. Time should be we should have put 3. Here time we have put 2. So that's the mistake we have made here while calculating. So be careful of that. Okay, next. Then I came to classify motion into these 3 categories. I can have motion with constant velocity, I can have motion with constant acceleration, and I can have motion with the variable acceleration. A0, a constant, a variable. Then I said how to identify that, right? Like this is the case. You see velocity is same every time. So this is motion with constant velocity. And to study motion with constant velocity, we need to use x equal to vt. Only one equation to study such kind of motion. Achha, then here you see velocity changing with time. So there is acceleration, but you see it is changing by same amount every time. In every 1 second, it is changing by 3. So here acceleration is 3, right? So this is acceleration, but this is constant acceleration. So this comes under motion with constant acceleration. To study such kind of motion, we require these 3 equations. They are called as equations of motion. V equal to u plus at, x equal to ut plus half at square, v square equal to u square plus 2ax, isn't it? And the fourth one is snf equal to u plus half 2n minus 1. Okay, now today we will be focusing on this. Motion with the constant acceleration. Acha. And then I gave another example. Here you see the velocity changing with time. So there is acceleration, but it's not same every time. The change is not same every time. Here you see 2 to 5, the increase is 3, but here from 5 to 8, increase is 3, but here 8 to 9, increase is 1. So in the same time interval, it's not changing by same amount. So there is acceleration, but the acceleration is not constant. It's variable acceleration, right? So this comes under this. And to study motion with variable acceleration, we have these 3 equations: v equal to dx by dt, a equal to dv by dt, a equal to v dv by dx. Till this much we had studied yesterday, so I have revised completely. From here we will continue. So the topic is, before applying any equation, first be careful what kind of motion it is, whether this is motion with constant velocity, whether this is motion with constant acceleration, or whether this is motion with variable acceleration. Accordingly choose the equation. I was telling some common mistakes of students. Some students, they like this formula x equal to vt so much that whenever distance, the question is asked about find position, find distance, find displacement, they just use x equal to vt. They don't think, अरे x equal to ut plus half at square ये भी हो सकता था, v equal to dx by dt ये भी लग सकता था. So we need to be careful. So now, are all of you okay with this much? इतना याद आ गया क्या? Raise your hands. Okay. So now let's study motion with constant acceleration. That means the second kind of motion. And then later we will go to motion with variable acceleration. है ना? चलो फिर लिखो motion with constant acceleration. So write down motion with constant acceleration. So here acceleration is there, but the acceleration is equal every time, at every instant of time. That means velocity changing, but the velocity changing by equal amount in every equal time interval. So to study this, we have got these three equations: v equal to u plus at, x equal to ut plus half at square, and v square equal to u square plus 2ax. Acha, so here be careful about the terms and how to use. What is v? v
Final
equal to u plus h.
Final velocity.
Yeah. So final velocity means, see, before, always note down this. Whenever we want to apply these equations, first of all we should consider, we should decide, I am applying this equation for which part of motion the body is traveling from initial point to final point. First decide here, what is the initial point of motion, what is the final point of the body, and then I am going to apply this equation for this interval. Then there is meaning of u, there is meaning of v, initial velocity, final velocity. Got it? So be careful. So this is the first step you should do. Whenever you see a motion, first decide what is the initial point, what is the final point. Then all these things make sense. And take a coordinate axis. Next is, you have decided initial point, final point, then take coordinate axis. So the initial point of motion, that you take it as origin. Okay, and then assign, okay, right hand side I'm going to take as positive, left hand side I'm going to take it as negative if it is motion in horizontal plane. If it is motion in vertical plane, so decide, fix it. Okay, upward direction I'm going to take as positive, downward direction I'm going to take as negative. So this is the second thing you should do. Then third thing, you should write down the information given in the question. क्या क्या दिया हुआ है, फिर लिखो. क्या क्या पूछ रहा है, उसको लिखो, question mark. Then think, तो जो दिया हुआ है और जो पूछ रहा है, ये क्वांटिटीज कौन से इक्वेशन में है, वो वाला इक्वेशन यूज करो. और तीन ही तो इक्वेशन है हमारे पास. So got it? How to do? What did I tell? Let me write down the steps. Let me write down the steps. First, decide the initial and final point of the motion. Decide initial and final points for motion. Right. Second, take starting point as origin. Take starting point as origin and choose coordinate axis. And choose coordinate axis. Third point, after you have chosen coordinate axis, write given information. Write given information. So in third step, you will require that those techniques where you should know, word में किसको मैथमेटिकली क्या बोलते हैं. अब फिजिक्स में ये पूरा सेंस आपको होना चाहिए. वर्ड में क्या बोलते हैं, तो क्या बोलते हैं. Then only you will be able to perform this third step. And then fourth step, choose the equation. Choose the equation. So I am telling you the thought flow. I'm telling you the thought flow in every chapter. This is not only for this chapter. Actually, throughout physics, you should do it like this. First, you should decide whatever motion is happening or whatever is happening. You should decide, okay, some event is happening. कौन से टाइम से कौन से टाइम तक ये इवेंट हो रहा है. स्टेप बाय स्टेप कैसे हो रहा है वो स्टेप. पहले क्या हो रहा है, अच्छा बॉल ऊपर से गिरा, गिरने के बाद नीचे आके कोलाइड किया, कोलाइड करने के बाद वापस ऊपर उठा, उठने के बाद वो स्प्रिंग से टकराया, स्प्रिंग से टकराने के बाद वो मिरर्स पे जाके लगा. क्वेश्चन को देखते ऐसे स्टडी कर लेने का, टाइम वाइज क्या हो रहा है, स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट क्या है, फाइनल पॉइंट क्या है, क्या क्या इन्फॉर्मेशन दिया है, क्या पूछ रहा है. अब उससे रिलेटेड कौन सा इक्वेशन लगाना है, कैसे इक्वेशन बनाना है, How to make equation, that may be different in different chapters, but steps तो यही follow करना है. जैसे मैथमेटिक्स में क्लास 5 6 में सीखते हैं ना, x मेथड, whatever he is asking, let it be x, then try to formulate an equation. When you solve that equation, you get x, something like that. Okay, तो अब इधर थोड़ा ध्यान दो. Write given information. The body starts from rest. What does that mean?
Initial velocity is equal to velocity is 0.
The body stops. What does that mean?
Final velocity equal to
Final velocity 0.
The car applies brakes, producing acceleration of 2 meters per second square. What does that mean? Acceleration minus 2. है ना? The body is at rest. What does that mean? The body is at rest. What does that mean?
velocity equal to
Huh? Velocity. The body is in equilibrium. What does that mean?
net force acting on the body is 0.
Find out the maximum compression of the spring. What does that mean? Work energy power chapter में आता है ना. Find out maximum compression of the spring. What does that mean? Means velocity is 0. Velocity is 0. धीरे धीरे we will come, come across all this thing. Find out maximum separation. Two cars are traveling. One car ahead, another car behind. Find out maximum separation between them. That means their velocities are equal at that time. A body is falling near surface of Earth. What does that mean? Body is falling near surface of Earth. What does that mean? Hello.
Velocity is equal to root 2g.
Acceleration equal to g downwards. Acceleration equal to g downwards. So it seems like nothing is given, but no, acceleration is given. That means, है ना? A piston is at rest with both sides gases. What does that mean? That means pressures are equal on both sides. ठीक है? समझ में आ रहा है?
Sir,
So like that, you should be able to, whatever is given in words, you should be able to convert that into equation. Let's see some more words. The surface is smooth. That means
Friction equals to
the
0.
surface is, yeah, that means friction equal to 0. Yes, yes. A body is thrown. Find out maximum height. So maximum height means
the velocity is 0.
yeah. So maximum height means velocity 0. A car is traveling. It changes direction and turns backward. That means turning backward from a point means velocity 0. Means velocity 0. है ना? A person is standing on a weighing machine. Find reading of weighing machine. Means
Normal reaction is equal
reaction.
to
yes. A rope is being pulled with a force of 20 Newton. That means
tension is equal to force.
yeah. A spring balance. Find a block of mass m is attached to a spring balance. Find out the reading of the spring balance. That means
Spring force is equals to the force.
tension or spring force is the reading. So like that you need to learn. Like that you need to learn. Okay, physically, some statements may be given. So you need to learn physically this statement means mathematically what, like that. Anyway, that we will come across slowly. Now for this chapter. So V हो गया final velocity. Only when you choose initial and final point, then only there is meaning to initial velocity and final velocity. U means initial velocity. A means acceleration. X means
Displacement. Displacement.
Who can tell? Let me see. Who can tell this? X means what?
Displacement.
No. Displacement.
Huh?
No,
Position.
not displacement. Position. Yes, it's neither displacement, it's not distance, it's position at time t. उसमें टाइम t डालो, वो अब कहाँ पे है मिलेगा. That's position. Sometimes some people write it as s equal to ut plus half t square. That writing s creates some kind of confusion. Therefore, I don't write it as x. Sorry, I don't write it as s. I write it as x because actually that is position. Huh?
Sir,
Sometimes,
when we write s, it defines displacement.
there also you should remember that as position. So don't write it as s. Better write it as x. In the formula, when you write x equal to plus half t square, that quantity on left hand side of equality sign, that is position. So better write it as x equal to plus half t square. Yeah.
This formula always defines position.
Yes. And sometimes position becomes equal to distance. Sometimes that position becomes equal to displacement. Sometimes it may not be.
Okay.
है ना?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So now let's after we have understood all these terms, now let's go to simple questions one by one. है ना? सिंपल क्वेश्चन क्या करेंगे, चलो क्वेश्चन से ही चालू करते हैं. लिखो मोशन अंडर ग्रेविटी. मोशन अंडर ग्रेविटी. Okay. So motion under gravity is an example of motion with constant acceleration. We are studying motion with constant acceleration. Motion of gravity is an example of that because any object which moves near surface of Earth, gravitational force is acting on it. So its acceleration is g downwards. है ना? So to study motion under gravity, we can apply these three formulas. So let's start. So the question. लिखो. A body is thrown vertically upwards. With u meter per second. Find out time of flight. And maximum height. Acha. So let me solve this question and next question you can solve yourself. मैं इसको बता देता हूँ. I will tell इसमें बच्चे मिस्टेक क्या करते हैं और थॉट फ्लो क्या होना चाहिए. अब इसको आप नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन से अप्लाई कर सकते हो.
Time of flight 2u/g.
How I time of flight
2u/g.
Yes. So first let me draw the diagram. So as soon as I read the question, first I will make a diagram. So this is ground. The body is from here. It's u meter per second. The body goes like this. Here it turns. And then it comes like this. Right? So this is my diagram. Now I need to find out this one, time of flight. So to study time of flight, see what I am doing. This is the initial and final position. So ये हो गया मेरा initial position. ये हो गया मेरा final position. Take the starting point as origin. अच्छा, तो see when you become expert now, you may not do these things physically. You may do these things mentally. But for some of you who may have some doubts, जब doubts होते हैं ना, तब steps को छोटा-छोटा करके break करके देखने से फिर वो चला जाता है doubts. या फिर वो mistakes नहीं होगा. इसलिए मैं बता रहा हूँ. Like that. So now take the starting point as origin. तो इसको मैं origin ले लूंगा और ऊपर की तरफ को मैंने positive y direction ले लिया. नीचे की तरफ में negative y direction ले लिया. हो गया. Now write the given information. अब मैं लिखूंगा given information. बोलो given information क्या क्या दिया हुआ है. u मेरा ये जो इक्वेशन का जो u है इनिशियल वेलोसिटी दिया हुआ है कितना u दिया हुआ है u प्लस u नॉट ले लो इसको तो फिर आपको आसान हो जाएगा u नॉट isn't it. अच्छा, u को प्लस यू नॉट दिया हुआ है कि माइनस यू नॉट दिया हुआ है, वो मुझे कैसे पता चला? क्योंकि मैंने ऊपर का डायरेक्शन को प्लस लिया हूं। अब इधर देखो यू नॉट किस तरफ है, ऊपर की तरफ है ना, इसलिए मैंने उसको प्लस लिखा। हियर कम्स द यूज ऑफ साइन कन्वेंशन, है ना। अच्छा, और क्या दिया हुआ है? इनिशियल पॉइंट समझ में आ गया, फाइनल पॉइंट समझ में आ गया, अब बताओ। अच्छा, व्हाट इज द फाइनल वेलोसिटी हियर?
Final velocity
व्हाट इज
will
v हियर?
0.
No, here final velocity is not 0.
At maximum height, v is equal to 0.
At maximum height final velocity is 0. Here the velocity is 0, but now I am starting from here to here, so here
Okay.
final velocity is not 0.
Root 2
Final
gh. Root 2.
No, it's not even root 2 gh. What is h? I have not spoken anything about h here. Actually, to be safe, here final velocity is not given. Here final velocity is not given, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Why am the body comes and hits the ground at final velocity is 0. No, here we are not studying what happens after. Here we are studying it was low and then it reached the ground, and the collision has not taken place yet. Till that much we are studying in kinematics. So final velocity is not 0. It is going somewhere. At some velocity it's fixed. Then what happens? That will collisions up. And after final velocity is 0. What final velocity is 0? It is coming and hitting with some speed. How many of you understood that here final velocity is not 0? Raise your hand. Here, okay. Here, tell me what is final position? Tell me what is final position? Here, time is t. Time is t. He is asking, what is the time? Let the time be. He is asking what is time of flight? Let the time of flight be t. So at time of flight t, what is फाइनल पोजीशन पे y कितना है इसका? फाइनल टाइम पे फाइनल पोजीशन पे इसका y कितना है? वो
Final
0. फाइनल पोजीशन इज 0. दिस इज इनिशियल पोजीशन, दिस इज फाइनल पोजीशन, तो 0 ना. अच्छा, व्हाट इज एक्सीलरेशन? व्हाट इज एक्सीलरेशन?
acceleration
G.
minus g.
माइनस जी और प्लस जी, सोचो, माइनस जी और प्लस जी.
minus g.
Minus G.
Minus g.
Minus g, because it is g downward, and now the downward has been taken as negative direction, so acceleration is minus g. Done. So now look at the formula. So what we have here? Look at here. We have u, t, y, a. So which formula has all these things? The second formula. Here I am writing y instead of x because the motion is happening in y direction. So I am writing y plus half t square. Right? So my formula is y equal to ut plus half at square. Put the values. Y, let me put as 0. U, let me put as u naught. T plus half minus g into t square. So t comes out to be kitna? 2 u naught by g. Now what you have this, remember for for all time. So this is how we solve a question. Got the steps? Now many of you know, but some of you, those who mistake in sign convention or in understanding or in calculating or in deciding how do I put a formula, you can get the idea from here. This question is simple, but next question you try to solve it. Is it clear? Next question, maximum height. Achha, maximum height means you take this as initial position, take this as initial position, take this as final position. Consider the motion from here to here. Now here u is plus u naught. I am taking this as my positive y-axis. many times things we do mentally, but just to teach you, I'm doing these things, slowly. I can do these things, quickly also. So here final velocity is 0, acceleration is minus g. So I need to find out maximum height. Maximum height, that means h. So I use formula v square equal to u square plus 2as. V square equal to u square plus 2as and up to a y, and so h will come out to be kitna u naught square by 2g. So remember this. Okay, should we go to the next question?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes.
Chalo. A ball is thrown vertically upwards with 20 meter per second from the top of a building, of height 40 meter, Find first time to reach ground, second maximum height from ground. चलो 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 सॉल्व करो. Let me see who can answer first. सॉल्व वाला देखो, मैच कराओ. मैच. So time to reach ground. So let me use y equal to ut plus half at square. Y minus 40, u plus 20 plus half a minus 10 t square. So this gives me minus 40 equal to 20t minus 5t square. So that gives me t square minus 40 minus 8 equal to 0. So that gives me t equal to minus b plus minus root over of b square minus 4ac by 2a. So 4 plus minus root over of 48 by 2a. So 48 means 4 root 3. 2 plus minus 2 root 3. So we will take 2 plus 2 root 3. How many of you have got this in your hand? Time of flight 2 plus 2 root 3. Okay, Swagat has got 2 else. Swagat, Kamlesh, Abhijit, Prayas, Kamlesh, Durga Prasad, Shravani, Hiten. Okay, who else? Okay, ठीक है. Okay, now let's go to the next question. A balloon.
Maximum height 60.
I forgot. Let's find maximum height. So
60.
maximum height means, first you find this height and then you do addition of this 40. So this height will be u square by 2g. So that is 20 square by 20. So it comes out to be 20. So from ground it is 60. From ground maximum height is 60. Okay. Yes. So now a balloon starts from rest and accelerates upwards and accelerates upward with 2 meter per second square. After 1 second, a stone is dropped from it. A stone is dropped from it. Find time taken by the stone to reach ground. Time taken by the stone to reach ground. Solve it. Anyone? See, this is basically the same question, you know. How here it is the dropped with 20 meter per second from height 40. That is being told here indirectly. Here what is happening? Here you see first the balloon is rising up. Then after some time the balloon is reached some height, their stone is dropped. That means basically the stone is dropped from some height and it is dropped with some velocity. That is not given directly. So it's like first you need to solve for the balloon and find out where it is after 1 second. You need to find out where that balloon is after 1 second, at what height, what is the velocity of the balloon. That will give you the height and the initial velocity of stone. केते जन को एटा बुझा पड़ला हाथ उठेलो सेम क्वेश्चन को प्रकार बोले बांके की दिया आइछ स्टोन रो इनिशियल वेलोसिटी और इनिशियल हाइट ता बलून रो बाहरिबो अच्छा ऑलराइट तो प्रथमे बलून पय सॉल्व कर देबा फॉर बलून बलून पय देखो इनिशियल वेलोसिटी हे जिवो 0 एक्सेलरेशन हे जिवो -g बा -10 मीटर पर सेकंड सॉरी here acceleration is not -10. Getting it? Because he is telling it accelerates upward with 2 meter per second square. Now why it is accelerating upward instead of coming down, that is a different story, but whatever is happening, it's going up with acceleration 2. So don't take a is -g. Sir, the balloon is moving near surface of earth. But now the only force acting on it is not gravitational. See, when a body has 10 meter per second square acceleration, when the only force acting on it is gravitational force. Sometimes on a body there may be so many other forces acting, and then the body may not come down. Rocket, does it come down? No, because there are other forces also acting on that rocket, except gravitational, means in addition to gravitational force. So a body moves because of net force, not because of only gravitational force. But when no other forces are acting, only gravitational force is acting, at that time acceleration is -10 meter per second square or g downward. जदि बुझा पड़िला ए कथा हाथ उठाओ केते बेले एक्सेलरेशन g हुए केते बेले एक्सेलरेशन g हुए नहीं सेडा म कहूची हाथ उठाओ. तो here acceleration should be +2. So now the balloon is accelerating upward because there is a buoyant force acting on it, and that buoyant force is greater than gravitational force, therefore it's moving up. Anyway, so u is given, a is given, time is given for the balloon, it's 1 second. So we can find out its velocity, final velocity. It's u plus at. It's u plus at. So it will be 2 upwards. And we can find out its height at that time. It will be ut plus half at square. Ut plus half at square. So it will be half into 2 into 1 का square. Is how much? 1. अच्छा, तो 1 सेकेंड के बाद बलून का हाइट और वेलोसिटी पता चल गया. बलून का हाइट और वेलोसिटी यही है स्टोन का इनिशियल वेलोसिटी और हाइट. तो अभी स्टोन के लिए क्वेश्चन ऐसा हो गया, स्टोन के लिए क्वेश्चन ऐसा हो गया. फॉर स्टोन हाइट 1 मीटर, वेलोसिटी कितना 2 मीटर पर सेकेंड. तो बस यही तो वापस अप्लाई करना होगा इधर। तो u is s equal to ut plus half at square. Now for stone acceleration will be -10. तो इसके लिए s कितना होगा, -1 2t minus 5t square. So that is 5t square minus 2t minus 1 equal to 0. So that is t equal to 2 plus minus root over of b square, that is 4 minus 4ac plus 20 by 2. How much is that? 24. 24 means 4 into 6, 2 root 6. So 1 plus minus root 6. So the answer will be 1 plus root 6. How many of you got this? Raise your hand. Okay, so now we will move a little faster. Now we will move it faster. So question solve करो. Question 1. अच्छा, बॉल ड्रॉप, इसका क्या मतलब है?
Newly fallen.
A ball is dropped, उसका क्या मतलब है मैथमेटिकली? Dropped means initial velocity 0.
A is equals to G.
हाँ, a equal to g भी होगा, and dropped means initial velocity 0 भी होगा, है ना? तो इधर find out first time of flight, second speed with which it hits ground, with which it hits the ground, second a ball dropped from a very tall building. From a very tall building. Find ratio of, a first question, find ratio of distances traveled in successive time intervals of t each. दूसरा क्वेश्चन है, find out ratio of times taken to travel successive distances of s each. Third, a car travels with uniform acceleration, from A to C. Find its speed, at midpoint B. Given that its speed is u meter per second at A and v meter per second at B. Sorry, at C. Solve.
The second question, building ର height ଟା दी.
Now it's a very long building, very tall building. Assume it's falling and falling and falling, never ending building. Acha, question number 1 solved.
Yes, sir.
So question number 1, here, just see how to do it. I am doing it very fast. Here this means u equal to 0, a equal to g downwards. Take this as origin, take this as positive y-axis, and find time of flight. Put y equal to ut plus half t square. Right? Put y equal to ut plus half t square. In y you put h, y में h डाल दो, 2 में 0 डाल दो, a में 0 दो, और फिर आ जाएगा root over of 2h by g. How many of you got this much? Raise your hand. And then remember this. Yes. So you see how I am saying. See the last question. In the last question, see I had given you the ball was thrown from bottom, it reached top, again came down. From here you remember two formulas. Time of flight is 2u by g. Maximum height is u square by 2g. Maximum height is u square by 2g. So now this is the second case. The ball is dropped from top and it's come down. So time of flight 2u. The speed at which it hits ground. Use v square equal to u square plus 2as. 2ay. तो y में डाल दो कितना h, a में डाल दो g, u में डाल दो 0, तो v आ जाएगा कितना रूट ओवर ऑफ 2gh. ये और एक फॉर्मूला याद रखो. हाँ, then with v equal to root 2gh it hits, and then there is the formula for collision, whether it is elastic or inelastic or partial elastic. Then the final velocity can be anything, depending on the type of collision. Anything you can know possible values of v. It's not that after collision it comes to rest. Why it will be at rest? It can be anything. Next, find ratio of distances traveled in successive time intervals of t second each. That means basically it's telling
Sir, এটা কোন 1:3:5:7 এমনি হবে?
Yes. Telling us t how much distance, then t to 2t how much distance है ना, then 2t से लेके 3t तक कितना ट्रैवल किया, then 3t से लेके 4t तक कितना किया, राइट, then 4t से लेके 5t तक कितना ट्रैवल किया. ये जो डिस्टेंस आएगा ना S2, S3, S4, S5, वो सबका रेशियो लेने के लिए बोल रहा है. ठीक है, तो कैसे निकालेंगे? देखो इसमें u 0 होगा, एक्सीलरेशन g डाउनवर्ड होगा, इसको ओरिजिन और इसको पॉजिटिव y डायरेक्शन ले लो, अब ऐसे ही है ना, ऐसे को टी प्लस हाफ स्क्वायर डालते जाओ, तो 0 टू टी में कितना आ जाएगा, ये आ जाएगा हाफ जी टी स्क्वायर, ये आ जाएगा हाफ जी टी स्क्वायर। अच्छा S2 कैसे निकालोगे, टी से 2t तक कैसे निकालोगे, 0 निकालो, उसमें 0 तक माइनस कर लो, तो t से 2t तक आ जाएगा ना, है कि नहीं। तो इसको अगर कैलकुलेट करोगे तो अब 0 से t तक तो आ गया हाफ जी टी स्क्वायर, अब 0 से 2t तक अगर निकालोगे तो वो आएगा हाफ जी इंटू 2t स्क्वायर माइनस हाफ जी इंटू टी स्क्वायर, तो ये आ जाएगा 3/2 जी टी स्क्वायर, ये आ जाएगा 5/2 जी स्क्वायर। फिर ये सारा रेशियो अगर लोगे तो 1:3:5:7:9 ऐसे चलता जाएगा ये। हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू गॉट दिस, रेज योर हैंड। स्वागत, कमलेश, विजयलक्ष्मी, अनदर कमलेश, अच्छा पार्थ भाई, ओके ओके ठीक है। अच्छा अब अगला वाला, फाइंड रेशियो ऑफ टाइम्स टेकन। इसमें 0 से h गिरने तक का टाइम निकालो T1, h से 2h तक गिरने तक का टाइम निकालो T2, 2 से 3h तक गिरने तक का T3, ये सबका रेशियो लो। अच्छा ये टाइम कैसे निकालेंगे, तो ये तो फॉर्मूला से आया है ना, h गिरेगा तो टाइम रूट ओवर 2h/g, तो T1 आ गया सीधे रूट ओवर 2h/g। T2 कैसे आएगा, T2 पहले 0 से 2 तक गिरने का लो, उसमें से 0 से h टाइम को माइनस करो तो ये जाएगा। अच्छा 2h से 3h कैसे जाएगा, तो 0 से 3h तक गिरने का टाइम निकालो, 0 से 3h तक गिरने का टाइम कितना है, 2 × 3h/g, 0 से 2 गिरने का टाइम 2 हाइट हो गया 2h/g, गेट इट आउट दिस फॉर्मूला, ऊपर से गिरने के लिए टाइम इस फॉर्मूला से निकाला जाता है। See how those formulas are being used again. ये अगर रेशियो लोगे ना कितना आ जाएगा, ये आ जाएगा 1:√2 - 1, √3 - √2, √4 - √3, like that it will continue, like that it will continue. Got it? Got it?
Yes, sir.
How many of you got this, raise your hand. How many of you got that, raise your hand. Okay, now come to the next question. Come to the next question. Acha, here you see how to calculate the midpoint. Simple. He is asking this one. So assume it b dash, assume it b dash. Okay, now let's write down the equations. This distance will be s, this will be s, because that's the midpoint. See, our method is identify the initial and final point of the, won't write equations. Whatever is asking, let it be s, let it be t, as a variable दे दो उसको. Then form equations, then solve the equation to find out the value. X method in mathematics. That's what we do. He is asking velocity at b, let it be b s. Now I will use whatever equation possible, I will solve them. So now from a to b, what equation is possible? Initial velocity given, final velocity given, separation given. So v square equal to u square plus 2s. इसमें हो जाएगा v का स्क्वायर इक्वल टू u स्क्वायर और प्लस 2 एक्सेलरेशन को माइनस a नॉट डालना होगा इंटू s। तो इक्वेशन आ गया v डैश स्क्वायर इक्वल टू u स्क्वायर माइनस 2a नॉट s, है ना। एक्सेलरेशन मान लो इधर हो रहा है, स्लो डाउन क्या बोल रहा है, ओ नहीं स्लो डाउन नहीं बोला, तो जस्ट लेट्स टेक इट एज प्लस, ठीक है। अच्छा देन फ्रॉम b to c, अब बी टू सी के लिए अगर आप इक्वेशन लिखोगे तो क्या हो जाएगा, बी स्क्वायर इक्वल टू बी डे स्क्वायर प्लस 2 ए नॉट एस हो गया. So you've got two equations. So now solve. So after solving, you will get b dash equal to under root u square plus v square by 2. How many of you got this? Acha, good. Prayas, Soumya, Vijay Lakshmi, Abhijit, Swagat, Kamlesh, Ishwari, Ipsita, Abhijit. Okay, okay, all right, all right. So now let's go to some other varieties of questions. I can have questions related to reaction time. We can have questions related to stopping distance. We can have questions related to symmetrical nature of motion under gravity. चलो ये तीन टॉपिक को सॉल्व करेंगे अभी. Questions related to reaction time. What is reaction time? What is reaction time? Reaction time means, let's say we are traveling on road. Suddenly a dog comes in front of us. So first we see the dog, then we think about it and decide, and then we apply brakes. So some time goes in deciding. So after that stimuli, we take some time to decide, then there is response. So between the stimulus and the response, some time is spent. That is called reaction time. Let's say there is a scale, and I drop this scale, and then in this someone drops this scale, and then I have to catch it. So when by the time I catch it, actually the scale goes down by some amount, isn't it? So that is the distance traveled by the scale in reaction time. Or I see the dog, then I think, then I apply. So after I saw till I applied brakes, the car has already moved some distance, isn't it? That is the distance traveled in reaction time. So in reaction time, you understood what is happening. So now the total motion can be classified into two parts. From the time I saw the dog to the time I applied brake. That is the motion during reaction time. And then after I applied brake till the time it stops. Getting it? So whenever these questions related to reaction time come, you have to divide the question into two parts and then you have to solve it. So chalo, solve karo. A person traveling in car with 20 meters per second suddenly sees a dog and applies brakes producing retardation of 5 meters per second square. If reaction time is 0.2 seconds, find distance traveled before it stops after seeing the dog. Karo. So here distance traveled will be Vt. So till the time he has not applied brakes, during that reaction time, the car is moving with constant velocity. So distance traveled will be Vt. So basically I am using the formula S equal to S1 plus S2. S1 is till the time he has not applied brake, and S2 is after he applied brakes till the time it stops. So that S1 will be Vt, and that S2 will be, it will be V0 square by 2a, stopping distance. है ना. तो VT it is 20 into 0.2 plus V naught square by 2a, that is 20 square by 2 into a, that is 5. So it is 4 meter plus this is 10. So 400 by 10 केते 84. तो it's 44 meters. कहार आसीची केते केते जन को बुझा पड़ी गला आसीची हाथ उठेलो देखिबा. प्रयास आसीची आउ प्रयास इप्सिता अभिजित विजयलक्ष्मी कमलेश स्वागत श्रावणी केशवरी पार्थसारथी. ओके ओके ठीक अछि ठीक अछि. Now questions related to symmetrical nature of motion of gravity. You see, there are three things here. If you remember, then you can solve these questions. See, whenever a body is thrown up, so it goes up and then it comes down. You will notice that at every height, it crosses that height 2 times, and while going up, इसका जितना velocity होगा, while coming down भी उतना ही velocity होगा. ये पहला point है. Because of symmetrical nature, है ना? While going, let's say it crosses that height with v meter per second. While coming also, it will be v meter per second only. पहला बात याद रहेगा. दूसरा बात it crosses that height twice. So while going up, whatever time it takes, t1 let's say. While coming down also, it will take same time, t1. ग्राउंड से उस साइड तक पहुंचने के लिए अगर टाइम t1 लिया था ना, तो वापस उस साइड से ग्राउंड तक यहाँ से मैक्सिमम हाइट अगर t2 टाइम लिया था ना, तो मैक्सिमम हाइट से वहां तक t2 टाइम ही लेगा. सेकंड पॉइंट. थर्ड पॉइंट, let's say at n second it is a topmost point, then n minus 1 second and n plus 1 second, at those times it will be at same height. Or you take as n minus 2 second, n plus 2 second, it will be at same height. Third point. Got it? क्यों? n second में ऊपर है, तो अब x n minus 1 second में x और 1 n plus 1 second x second बाद वहीं पे ही होगा ना, because in same time it will travel same distance up and same distance down ना. Got it? अब इसको यूज करके बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस फटाफट सॉल्व हो जाएंगे. देखो जैसे कि लिखो a ball is thrown up with some velocity, with some speed. Find out distance traveled by the ball in last second of its upward journey. करो. Let me see who can solve it. And then later we will do questions related to juggling of balls, है ना? कल करते हैं ये सब. कहार हे गला एटा देखिबा एटा को किए केते जल्दी करि पड़ुची एक्चुअली दिस क्वेश्चन विल टेक हाफ सेकंड दिस क्वेश्चन शुड टेक हाफ सेकंड if you can just think in the right way. Should I solve? Should I solve? कहार हे गला एटा कहार भी नहीं कमलेश अभिजीत विजयलक्ष्मी दुर्गा प्रसाद
S plus half A.
वैल्यू बताओ केशवरी लीलावती हितेन दिवाकर दिवाकर पार्थ प्रयास सौम्या स्वयं सिद्ध सौम्यकांत श्रावणी कौन कहार भी आसुनी उत्तर अरे हाफ सेकेंड लगे प्रश्न उत्तर कहीदेवी देख 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 कहीदे last 1 second of upward journey means first 1 second of downward journey. First 1 second of downward journey. बुझिला last 1 second of upward journey means first 1 second of downward journey. Now for first 1 second of downward journey, u equal to 0, a equal to 10, t equal to 1, so s equal to ut plus half at square, that is 5 meters. Half second, isn't it? Hello, के जन बुझला हाथ उठाओ
एटी u टा 0 केन देबो माने मैक्सिमम हाइट तो जणा नहीं मैक्सिमम हाइट रु तळो को भी तो
मैक्सिमम हाइट को जणा नहीं किंतु फर्स्ट 1 सेकंड ऑफ अपवर्ड डाउनवर्ड जर्नी रो अर्थ मैक्सिमम हाइट रु 1 सेकंड पड़ला जाई हाइट ता केते जणा नहीं हमको ठीक अछि किंतु जहां भी तो से हाइट से जगह रु 1 सेकंड पड़ला जाई डिस्टेंस का काढिबार अछि तो से जगह तो वेलोसिटी तो 0 ना तो इनिशियल वेलोसिटी 0 होला ना हेलो
अच्छा अच्छा हां हां
एटा केते जणा नहीं किंतु ए जगह रे वेलोसिटी तो 0 ना हमें एडवेटिक मोशन टा कंसीडर करूछु केते सहज ठीक अछि